Okay, today's demo lesson is all about singular versus plural regular nouns. We're going to talk about how to conjugate them, how to conjugate a singular noun to give it a plural meaning. So typically you add the letter S to the noun, but sometimes we add ES. We add other versions of that. So if this is something you're confused with, like you don't know how to conjugate your nouns, so make sure the ending is correct, you're going to want to watch this demo lesson. And I want to point something out. This is technically an A1 demo lesson, but I found a lot of my advanced students need help with some of the basics, because depending on how you learn English to pass the test and not to have conversations. So you may have been able to pass the test in order to get to college or get a visa, but in the actual workplace, you may have been told that your English isn't very good. And that's because you're missing some of the grammar points that you're missing, the foundations. So if you're struggling with some grammar, you're not sure if you need help, this is a good demo lesson for you to watch. Hey, this is Michael with Michael's Business English. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Michael Rincon. I'm a former six-figure data analyst turned career coach and ESL instructor, and I support English language learners improve their career development through communications and language training. If you're new here on this channel, we talk about business English, communications, and career development. So if that's something you're into, make sure you like and subscribe, and all the links that we mentioned in this video you can find in the description box below. Okay, today's demo lesson is singular/plural regular nouns. This is an A1 lesson. This is for absolute beginners. If you're new to English and this is your first time learning grammar and you haven't studied this in a while, this is a good lesson for you. In fact, most of my advanced students, my students who are adults, language learners, need to take refreshers on beginner courses like this because they have fossilized errors. They don't know that they're making mistakes. They don't know why they're making mistakes. This is actually part of a lesson plan for one of my students who got a grade of a C1 on the fluency test, yet she still missed some of these answers for these beginners. So the objectives for today include to use regular and singular and plural forms of nouns by adding S, ES, IES, and VES. Okay, let's begin. So for the warm-up, I want you to read each sentence and determine which picture each sentence belongs to, right? So what is this? And what does it match to, right? So this should be pretty easy, right? These are flowers, right? What is this one? These are buses. This is a city. This is a banana, right? What do you notice the differences? Like, you notice like why some of this is like this, these, this is banana, flowers, buses, city. Like, remember, this is a warm-up, but I'm just trying to get you thinking right now, noticing how the endings are different. Flowers, buses, why does one have ES, right? Interesting. So, singular and plural nouns, right? One apple, one flower, two apples, two flowers. In English, we typically just add an S to a singular noun to make the plural form, right? So, singular noun, table, turns it into a plural noun. So now it's tables. Table plus S plus tables. So, what is the plural form of these nouns, right? Train. So, how would you make this plural? Trains, right? Like, remember what we did before? For most nouns in English, you add the S to the singular noun to make it plural. How about plane? Well, that would be planes. How about oranges? Right. How do you make orange plural? How do you make orange oranges? Oranges, so it's like with an S. Window, windows. Okay, let's keep going. So how about these? Right? How do you make these plural? Right? And this might seem like it's just a trick question. Why is it so simple? Well, that's because we just got to practice right now. That's what remember, the mind learns through repetition. So in order for you to get used to saying things correctly, to get your English properly done, like you have to practice these exercises. So even though this might seem boring, might seem mundane, like I want you to go ahead and do the exercise. Because as you practice now, manually, while you're thinking about it, in the future, when you're writing your emails or you're having conversations, your mind will automatically make the conjugations and make these updates automatically without you having to think about it. So right now it's boats, right? Like chairs, right? Like one more. Right. So remember that for most nouns, most singular nouns, to make them plural, we just add an S. But there's exceptions. To some nouns, we add ES. Right? Now this is where the exercises come in, right? So if a noun ends with S, SH, CH, or X, we add ES. Bus becomes buses. Box becomes boxes. Brush becomes brushes. And church becomes churches. Notice the sound isn't that much different. Like, it still has the S as a sound. I'm not teaching phonics, right? But I just want to point something out to you, like from a speaking and listening point of view, like it's going to sound similar. Like boxes, like if I asked you to spell that, like what does it sound like to you? You might put S. You might not put ES because of the sound effect. Right? Like it's a phonics, how that works. But for reading and writing purposes, when you're writing emails in English, it's important to remember the ending of the noun affects what the plural noun is. This is important because if you're in a situation in certain environments where they expect you to know this and you write in English that's not proper, it's going to trigger red flags. It's going to look incongruent, it's going to look weird, and they're going to be like, something's off. Right? Like if you think about why we have spam emails, like what is spam? The number one thing people look for is it look awkward. Broken English is a sign of spam. This is why it's important to make sure your email is proper when you're writing in English. Okay, so here's some exercises. And this is going to be interesting because it's going to be a combination of S and ES, right? Let me go back a bit. If a noun ends in S, SH, CH, or X, we add ES. But for most nouns, let's go back. For most nouns, you just add S to a singular noun. Okay? So, what do you think the plural noun of books is? So for book, do you add S or do you add ES? Let's go back one more time. If a noun ends in S, SH, CH, or X, we add ES. What does it end in? It ends in a K. So does it end in an S or does it end in an ES? It ends in an S, so it's books. What about bike? It should be bikes. Right? We don't add ES. We wouldn't do bikes like that. We would just do bikes. Add an S. What about fox? Is it foxes or foxes? Oops. Foxes or foxes? Fox or fox? Right? It sounds the same, but when writing it, we put ES because the ending of the noun is an X. How about address? Address, and then with an additional S, or addresses. Addresses or addresses. It's the ES. How about umbrella? It's the last one. I'm going to move on after this one, right? So like umbrella, umbrellas, or umbrellas. Oh, spell it. Umbrellas. Which one do you think it is? Right? So remember what we said before. What are the noun types that end? Right? If you don't remember, it's okay. We can go back. Right? So if you don't remember, if a noun ends in S, SH, CH, or X, we add ES. What's the ending here? It's an A. So it's not one of the ones we mentioned before. So the correct answer is umbrellas with an S. Right? Because remember, the noun ending is an A, and if it ends in S, SH, CH, or X, we add ES. Okay? Let me show you the homework real quick. We're running out of time. Okay, this is the homework. I'm going to just go over this real quick, very briefly. Like, we didn't get to cover the entire lesson because it's only 10 minutes, but I want to show you real quick. So, what is the plural form of this noun? Plane, right? One plane, two planes. One cat, is it cats, right? Well, box. Remember fox? Remember how fox was like? Was it S or ES? Is it boxes or boxes? Right? It's boxes. Right? How about watch? Remember the endings. Remember the endings that we chose. If it's S, SH, CH, or X, right? Like the endings that affect it. Watches. Right? So we can keep going. Not going to go do that. Here's the thing I want to point out to you. Like, one of the cool things about lessons with Michael's Business English is that all our lessons are recorded. So you can always go back and watch the lesson again. And so you can review the lesson anytime you want if you have questions. So you don't have to worry like if you forget. Because remember, this is about training. You're not going to get perfection. Like, the goal is not to pass the test. The goal is to build repetition. That's why the homework is so important. Because you need to practice these exercises until they become unconscious and you just do them naturally. Like, when you think about your native language, the language you speak in naturally, you don't have to think about the grammar rules for your language. Right? You just know the words and the rules that you use to conjugate. Alright, thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next episode.